Yes, sir.
All right, you ready?
Yes, sir. And Jack is right here. Here we go. Perfect timing.
And we are live. It is Wednesday night. It's international break, but that doesn't mean we're not here for you. This is Stoppage Time FC, Scene Family. Stoppage Time FC is the Facebook group. Join the group, join the conversation, join the banter. I got Chelsea Blue, aka Zach, Bomb Pop for life. Joe, he's gonna definitely have to explain what that is. Fellas, we are at the international break, and I know you two big on internet. I'm not as big on international football until it gets closer to the World Cup, close to the big tournament. So I'm gonna let you all kind of lead this tonight. But how's everything going? Where are we gonna start?
Well, I'm just excited to be talking to everybody again, getting some footy talking.
Yeah.
And very busy. My personal soccer life with my daughters and everything. We've been nonstop on the weekends and practices every night. So it's fun to take a break from all that and chat with my boys about what's going on in the world of the beautiful game. So you can see behind me, big talk in international football for the U.S. men's side is the release of the World Cup kits. That's been kind of the talk of the week. And the U.S. ones, let's say, are highly disappointing for most folks. So
Is that the Bomb Pop reference?
The bomb pop for life is this. There we go. Point the finger the right way. Is this one right here? That's my favorite U.S. men's national team kit from the ice cream truck. That was the inspiration kind of for this one with the nickname and everything. So we got my boy Deuce Dempsey behind me, rocking what an appropriate World Cup kit should look like for the U.S. men's national team. Not that atrocity that they kind of threw out for us. So this week, a lot of the kits have been revealed, and that's a big deal in world football with international football anyway. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about what each group is going to look like and just some initial matchups that we think are going to be real interesting and with either teams or big players on each team we might be looking for, those kind of things. So Zachary, how you doing? Great timing.
Yeah, I'm here. I made it. I'm looking now to see if I can, since this is what we're doing. Yeah, there we go. That's better.
That had to be the other option.
That's better.
That had to be the other option.
If we're doing favorite men's national team kits, I too went with Deuce, but it would be the Where's Waldo kit.
Yes. From
all the proper
children's
references.
Book. Absolutely. Had to represent the right kind of kits because we're all very disappointed in what the men's kits look like.
0 out of 10. You could give it to me and I wouldn't even hang it.
Nope. It's not good.
That bad?
That's awful. Even the blue one is bad.
The blue is a tie-dye, like a royal blue with a little bit of navy mixed in.
Oh yes, yeah.
Like it's almost like I think they went tried to go camo, but it's a poor attempt. Not a fan.
And they got the new crest front and center, like right in the middle. And it's bigger than I would have anticipated it being. Like, you know how some of the new Puma kits that they came out with, the club ones, have the crest centralized, but it's this size. There we go. I'm not mirrored, I don't think. So it's this size right in the middle. This one is like a full hand size crest right here. And the home is just plain white with some weird navy blue accent right here in the middle. And then a little bit of red and blue on the shoulders. It's just very boring. It looks like a training kit. And in the group, I think I mentioned a couple of times to people that my daughter's club kits look way better than what they put out this year. So fashion at the World Cup.
It's so bad. I was thinking about pulling it up and showing you, but I don't even want to give it airtime. Like, that's how bad it is.
Without seeing it, camo and or tie-dye just never comes off well on uniforms in general.
Yeah.
So if that's what they were, if Yeah, Zach sparing us for sure. Not
It's not
showing
good.
what this. It. Yeah, that's
And then
bad.
the U.S. Side for the following summer when the Women's World Cup comes around, because we are the reigning champions in the Women's World Cup. The reigning champions usually have a badge on the kit, and the crest is right here, just like on the men's, but directly next to it is a giant gold like champions crest sitting right next to each other, not like even off the sides either. It's just the women's one even looks even worse because of
It's
the location of the crests. It's
the same crest. It's the same crest that you see on like Chelsea's kits right now because they're the Club World Cup champion. So it's that same
Right.
gold crest, but they're literally like right next to each other.
they're off center. It looks
Yeah.
it's not appealing to the eyes.
The white ones remind me of Tottenham's. If you've seen Tottenham's white kit,
Yeah.
it has that same like collar area. Just no.
Somebody posted a picture of the Marshmallow Man from
Stay Puff.
from Ghostbusters, because he's got like the little navy blue and red tie right here, and that one cracked me up. That was a good work on whoever posted that. So how are we feeling in the soccer world for you, Zachary?
Next. I'm just
Had a potential new sporting director coming in, right?
What's that?
Had a potential new sporting director or executive that didn't transpire, huh?
Had yeah, and then it just seems like every roadblock and road bump that we can hit along the way for everything with this club is just happening. So we just appointed a head of business operations. Not even like 4 weeks ago, he worked with Glick at City, Willoughby. We appointed him. We've already fired him because of sexual harassment claims. He was sending like text messages to, I don't know if you're familiar with Catalina Kim. She's a European-based finance / football agent. And he was sending her like inappropriate text, like, and videos. This was pre before he signed with Chelsea. But we've already fired him. We're supposed to get Frund from Salzburg to be our new sporting director, and out of nowhere, Salzburg's like, nah, just kidding. So now that fell through. It's just, man, it's tough in the streets right now.
It's a difficult time to be a Chelsea fan for sure. Like you said, it seems like everything that could potentially hinder some progress or some growth or some continuity right now, it seems to be not happening the right way.
Yeah, the only positive I'd say, going on in London right now is from the academy and the women's side. They've signed a bunch of really young, promising talent who they want to, in non-Chelsea fashion, actually groom and put into the first team in the future. Whereas, Chelsea of old was loan, sell high, instead of, buy to groom. They were buying to sell. They want to buy to fit them into the first team, which is good. Todd Bowley said in an interview the other day that Kings Meadow, which you're probably not familiar with. So we have Stamford Bridge, where the men's team plays, Cobham, which is our academy and training facility, and then Kings Meadow is where the academy team and also our women's team play. He said that Kings Meadow is not up to standard of what he wants from a women's football team. Now, mind you, Kings Meadow is a pretty nice stadium, especially comparably to other women's teams in the WPSL. I'm sorry, it's WSL, I think. I don't know what it is.
The Women's Premier League.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever that acronym ends up being.
He said that that's not up to standard, so they're looking at when they renovate Stamford Bridge to also either renovate or build a complete new women's / academy stadium, which is good. But other than that, I'm not looking forward to this international break. I'm frustrated with the lack of, it'll be a month by the time Chelsea play again. That's less than ideal, quote unquote suboptimal, if you will. And so, it's just like I said, it's a frustrating time. I want answers, I want solidity, and I want to continue to move in a positive direction for the club, and I'm just not feeling it right now.
Before we pop over to the other side of London, do you know how many of your guys are off on international duty this week for the next 2 weeks?
A fair bit. I can get you a hard number if you really want to know.
The thought is it would be nice if it wasn't like heavy with first team players being gone, because that would give Potter time to work with the players and give them some time to get in the training pitch and work on how he wants to play. But if half the team is gone, then that makes that a little more difficult.
I wouldn't say half is gone, but I'd say probably at least 30 or 40%. A lot of first namers. I know that Mendy just withdrew, and he's headed back to London to rehab his knee injury still. And obviously Pulisic is gone, although I
to be determined there.
Yeah.
Question mark.
I know that Chelsea did just have a closed door friendly with Brighton. Ironically, with Brighton, they went
That's
back.
Not awkward at all.
Right.
Right.
They held a closed door friendly with a bunch of fringe first teamers for Chelsea. So guys like Gallagher, Carney Chukwuemeka, or however the hell you spell his last name, say his last name. The new kid that we just signed from Villa. He ended up scoring 2 goals and a 2-1 win. Yeah. So I'm happy. Oh, and Broja played the entire 90. Apparently Potter wants Broja to start sooner rather than later, which is good news. I know Aubameyang said today that he's still not fit from the break-in, and he's still nursing that broken jaw. So, I'd like to see Broja get some time and get a chance to see what he can do in a full 90 minutes instead of a 30-minute cameo. But yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. The more time the first teamers can spend with Potter to learn his tactics and his needs and his wants as a manager, the better. But c'est la vie, I guess.
Truth. Ronnie, y'all sit at the top of the Premier League table at the moment.
I know, man. We in the season right now. It's cool.
King seat.
We just in the season right now, and things are good. This is as good a place as Arsenal have probably been in. Honestly, you would probably have to go back 6-7 years since things have been this positive. Maybe you have to go to early days of Mesut Ozil and Alexis Sanchez. It's probably the last time it was this good. Will it last? I don't think it will last, only because we don't have the depth of squad, I believe, for this to run for a whole season. And we know injuries, dips in form are going to happen.
Let me ask you this, and I don't know. I'm truly asking. You guys have had a fairly easy start to the season, right? Schedule for fixture wise.
We beat the teams that you would think we would beat or at least not lose to.
which is good. I mean, we talk about this. We talk about this all the time. If you want to challenge for the title, you have to win those games. So, and me asking wasn't a slight against Arsenal, but more along the lines of it's going to get tougher. So,
yeah,
winning points now is at a premium.
Oh yeah, because when we come off this break, you talk about obviously with the Queens passing, the compressed schedule that's going to be for everybody. But we also have City, Liverpool, Tottenham, Europa League. Like I believe we're going to play, and this is probably the same thing for you all. I believe we play 9 times in November. Or something like that. There's like it's 2 games a week every week, and there's 1 week that is 3.
Yeah, leading up to the World Cup, the teams that are playing European football you're playing 8-9 games in October and probably the same amount almost into November.
So I think once the that kicks in, we'll come back to earth. However, I am not going to listen to from Arsenal fans is the "we're young" you can't play the "we're young" card though. If they don't finish, they have to finish for me. They cannot finish outside of the top 4. I don't care. You can tell me about the World Cup, the pack schedule, blah, 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 blah. The start has been too good to now say, well, it's okay if we get 5th. Had too good a start now.
I mean, but on the same token, Ronnie, that's only 6 matches. Like,
it's only, which if you look at it though, with the start, Chelsea's had a rough start, right?
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool's had a rough start. You have a 10-point head start. Yes, it's only 6, but you got a 10-point head start on 2 teams who I thought when the season started were locked in top 4. Like for me, when the season started, is Chelsea, is Liverpool, is Man City. Those 3 teams will be somewhere in the top 4. You got a 10-point head start on 2 of them. So not making the top 4 for me, top 4 now is the minimum. And I'm just not doing the whole, they're so young. We're here now. October will definitely tell. I mean, because I do expect that Liverpool's not going to be this bad for long.
God, I hope so.
It would be interesting if they were.
It would be real interesting.
But I'm at a pot. I feel good about where we're at. I just the shoot for me is going to be just how does this really thin team? Our first 11 is really good, but with this compressed schedule, you have to play 15, 18 different guys. When you have to start playing guy 12 through 18 more because of the schedule, it's going to get dicey.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, now that we have 5 subs officially, guys 12 through 17 are getting played every single match. So, that's just more bodies that can get hurt. They take more dings. And that's where, teams that have a little bit more depth have that luxury that others don't. But I'm curious, Ronnie, like, and coming from an Arsenal fan, only you can say this. Is it Gabby Jesus or is it a culmination of things? Because obviously Gabby's played well to start. He's hit the ground running and truthfully, he's done better than even I thought he would do. I thought he would be successful, but I didn't know he'd be this good this early. Is it just him or is it a culmination of things?
It's him up front. He is so much a better player than Lacazette was what Aubameyang became toward the end when it just kind of fell off the cliff with him and Arteta. So it's him. And I never thought I would say this. Show you how this thing works.
Screen report.
Granit Xhaka has been really good.
What?
Like, it's crazy. He's been far and away the best midfielder this season for us by some stretch.
Better than Odegaard?
Yeah.
Huh.
Arteta's playing him like not necessarily a defensive central midfielder, but he plays closer to goal now. It's done wonders for him. He's had a really good year.
He's more of an 8 instead of a 6. He's more box to box than
he's more box to box. He's better. Saliba is what we thought. Watching William Saliba now, it makes me mad that he was on loan last year. Because he's not that Ben White is a slouch, but he is just a much better player than Ben White. So you had that, and Arteta, to his credit, the things he's trying to get across are working. Like, I still have my questions about him, but it would be disingenuous to say that he's not improved as a manager. I think sometimes we feel like players get better, but managers don't. Managers get better too. He's gotten better as a manager. Credit to him.
Well, it definitely helps when people buy into the philosophy, and that's
absolutely,
that's huge. And kudos to Arsenal's front office, because they could have very easily pulled the trigger on him and sacked him last year, and you ought to come in with a new manager, new expectations, but they didn't, and they stuck with him, and clearly it's paying dividends for them. So, I tip of the cap to the London rival, because they are doing quite well in that aspect. I for one, I really like watching Martin Odegaard play. The kid.
I like him. Odegaard is a really good player. I think having Partey and Xhaka behind him frees him up. I think sometimes it's a little bit overstated him as a captain, and he's not John Terry. He's not Vincent Company. He's not. That's just not his personality. So, but I'm fine with him as captain. But he's definitely being helped right now by the fact that Granit Xhaka has bought this. He bought all the FIFA points. Apparently, it's just not the same guy from the previous 6 years.
So is Partey's playing a 6?
Partey's
Xhaka's playing an 8.
Mm-hmm. And then Odegaard
is 10.
Is your most attacking central midfielder. But it's good to watch, man. And I know we play like Tottenham and City fresh out of the international break. So we're gonna find out very quickly what this team is really about. Even if we were to like not get favorable results, I want to see how it looks against the bigger squad. I saw us against Manchester United, and it was still a little bit shaky in that type of atmosphere. And
Ronnie, I'm not going to let you bypass on that, because I heard what you said. I don't know if the other guys caught it, but you said, I want to see how they do against the big clubs. And then the very next sentence you mentioned Manchester United. Like, I got that jab in there.
You know what? There was a little jab, but we have not played well at Manchester United for years. Just haven't.
It's tough to go to Old Trafford, man.
And this team is still young. That in those big occasions like Old Trafford, North London Derby, Man City, Liverpool. How do you look in those matchups?
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna find out in October. I think we play all of them. We play 3 of those for sure. And we're gonna find out how they look in those occasions. But it's a great A so far. Like I can't really be. There's nothing. I have no complaints with Arsenal Football Club right now.
Quite the turnaround from this time last year.
And Joe, now let's go to Man City, who has the most other than Lewandowski, the most destructive player on planet Earth, the Terminator,
the Norwegian meat shield.
Erling Haaland. You gotta figure a dip in form will happen. I know we don't wish injuries, but even if he catches a bad spot, Joe, I just kind of feel like a bad spot for him, he might go 2 games in a row without scoring. Like he won't have an extended drought. The Erling Haaland experience, the early days, how's it? I won't say how's it going because I think it's pretty easy to see how it's going, but just talk about it.
It's real nice to sit down and watch this team play with a designated number 9 again and have a true striker up front. It's been a couple of years since Sergio was in his prime when he was scoring goals with Sané and Sterling out wide. So seeing us play with such a destructive force in the middle again is great. And he doesn't participate too much in the build-up play, but that just leaves more space for the likes of Bernardo and Gundogan and Kevin to kind of operate underneath him and kind of float into open spaces. And he doesn't need to get a bunch of touches to be impactful in the game, which is great because that, like I said, that leaves our midfielders and our wide guys in better positions to do what they do best. It's been a weird start because we've won most of our games, but it's been the way we've had to win them, coming back from 2-goal deficits in a couple of games and not looking entirely convincing for like a half of football. And then a couple of our guys decide like that's enough and we're going to go ahead and win this game or get back into a tie with Newcastle. That game was nuts. But the combination of De Bruyne and Erling Haaland is just an unfair cheat code right now because they're developing a relationship already on the pitch and they kind of know where they're going to be. And the passes that Kevin can pick out and the runs that Erling makes are wonderful just to watch. It's been really fun. We have 16 of our first team guys out on international duty for the next 2 weeks. So I am extremely
don't come back.
I'm extremely uncomfortable for the next week and a half or so that somebody is with that many out. I can't imagine all 16 are coming back fully fit. So and it's every one of our big name guys are out with their national team. So that's kind of why I asked that question for you, Zach, was because I knew that we had 16 guys out and about right now. So it's been a very fun journey so far with Erling being up top again. And it's with 2 years of false 9 situation happening. It was fun, but not like this because he brings a whole different energy to the fans and to the players around him. It's just knowing that you have him up there to take care of a lot of stuff is great. And the interesting news that Zach will appreciate that came out this morning in the media world was about Mr. Jack Grealish.
Yeah, I did see that.
Did you see that? I thought you might. So
the
hullabaloo this morning was that Jack doesn't see himself at City past this summer and allegedly has asked his agent to go ahead and find him a new club for next year. So I don't know how true any of this is. I'm not going to speak to the validity of the reports. I just hope that they don't tease me and the fact that he might not be here because he's a City guy, so I'm going to support him, but he still drives me nuts with how he plays on the field sometimes.
My
and
man Jack.
I would not be disappointed to, even if we have to take a fairly large hit on the fee, see him move off to other pastures, and bringing in other wing options for the future.
Does he want out of the Premier League period, or he just wants a different?
So I watched, he gave an interview today on international duty for the national team, and they were asking him about his relationship with Pep and the difference between City and Villa. And he gave a lot of the right answers, but the kind of tone was he kind of misses the auto starts that he was getting at Villa and the freedom to play wherever he wanted to go, pretty much. And with City, unless your name's Kevin De Bruyne or Bernardo Silva, you don't have the luxury of just floating wherever you want in the midfield. If you're going to play wing, you got to be wide. And you can cut in when you have the ball, but otherwise you need to be open to creating space for your teammates, not just floating wherever you want. So that you could tell in the interview that he kind of missed the freedom that he received at Villa and the like automatic start. He mentioned like being able in a rhythm when you were starting every match, and that might be something he needs to be the most effective version of himself. And at City, if you have a bad game or two, there's somebody right behind you waiting to play and anxious to play and wanting to play. And if they have a good game, you might not see the field for a little while. So I think there's a little of that going on, but like I said, I don't know how true the actual report was of him asking for a new club for next year, but I would not be disappointed to see him.
It's almost like you could strike out the name that you just said, change the color to a little bit darker blue, and you were just talking about Christian Pulisic. Word for word. I mean, realistically, because all those same issues are the same things that, Christian is struggling with, not starting, not getting auto starts and things like that. And then apparently he's running his mouth in his new book, which I was not a fan of. Poor look on him. But I think that's the same issue with Jack right now is he's used to being that dude at Villa, and he's now a dude instead of that dude. So
different responsibilities at that point. And when you have 3 or 4 attacking players, 5 or 6 maybe, that are performing better and more comfortable in Pep's system already, you're not going to be getting auto starts. And you better like I said, you got to find your form quick, or somebody else is going to be in that spot. So we shall see.
17 is the answer to your question, by the way.
You have 17 out.
17 first team names in some form of international duty, whether it's with the senior team or like
a youth team.
Gallagher, Colwill, and Carney all qualify for the U20s. So they're with the U20s, but I mean, it's matches that, bad things can happen with. So less than ideal to have 17 names gone for a full international break.
Truth.
Trav was late.
Our 4th member of our squad has joined us.
Yeah, he was late. He was trying to cop those new LeBron Liverpool kicks. I don't know if Trav, you seen those things?
I seen them. I don't like the color scheme. Man, I don't even want to talk about it. You got me on here because you say you got a couple of things to get off your chest about my team and all. I'm just here in the respects of you and everybody else. But anyways, man, we're not doing good. Just be brutally honest about it. We're not playing. A couple of months ago, I was in a different seat. Beat the premier teams and all this stuff, but I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on within the culture of Liverpool, but it's just not looking good right now. We're losing games that we're supposed to be winning, and it ain't been right ever since. So, I mean, I know y'all guys can elaborate more about what's really going on, but from what I've seen, it's just our heads are just not in the game like they used to be.
That's the curious thing about it for me is we all know about their issues in the midfield that never got addressed. So that's not entirely surprising that they're struggling a little bit with the midfield situation. But I've never seen a Klopp team in this version of Liverpool play so almost disinterested at times and not full bore. That's just not typical of a Klopp coach team and what we've seen for the past 4 or 5 years from Liverpool. They've always been pedal to the metal, fully engaged, high energy team, and just it seems like they're sleepwalking at times. That's from my perspective. That's what I've seen, and that's been very curious because I don't understand why that would be.
It's wild too, because we all talked about, and I mentioned this when Mane left, that was going to cripple Liverpool more than they thought it would, and it's true. It absolutely has. Now, with that being said, Diaz has been phenomenal, and he is very, very good. So the drop off isn't staggering, but I think that Mane is just that much better. For me though, and yes, we all know, like you said, Liverpool's midfield issues. They are new year, same old me. Until they get that fixed, it's gonna be a problem. My thing is that back four is dreadful this year. The only name you hear in a positive light is Trent. And even that is not, like 50-50. Good news, bad news. Like, yeah, he makes a great assist and he gets burned over the top again because that's what happens to Trent. Van Dijk looks dreadful. He is probably in the worst form I've ever seen him in the Premier League. His center back partnership, whether it's Gomez, whether it's whoever you want to put back there, Fabinho, Matip, like they none of them look like a good partnership. And I haven't heard Andy Robertson's name at all this year. When Liverpool is firing on all cylinders, you look at both wings as being successful. And that's, to me, is that the issue, that Robertson no longer has Mane, to help him out. And so that whole left side of that team is now that much weaker because of it.
Yeah, I can
see
that.
Doing this, they've also done this really weird thing strategically where Mo Salah, who's been their most devastating goal scorer since the day he got there, plays really wide now. Like, he plays like old school winger, like damn near on the touchline.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been one of the, if not the best goal scorer in the Premier League for the last 5 years. But he played really far away from goal. And I don't know if that's whatever adjustment that they made this year. You're taking, like you said, you lose Mane, and then you take your best goal scorer and put him 15 feet away from 15 feet wider away from goal. It's a really, their attack looks really awkward.
And that's just it. He's out there on the touchline, like you said, but then he doesn't make a run in. Like, there's no pretty dribble, from Salah. It's, 90% of the time it looks like he's making a back pass, to somebody in the midfield or back to Trent, and then Trent whips it in. It's not, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I think they'll right the ship. They'll be fine. They're going to be right there in the top 5. And I fully expect Liverpool to be fine and finish in the top 4. But it's Merseyside looks really weird this year.
That they do. But like you said, I think for sure it's going to be corrected at some point, and they'll get it together. Nunez has just not been super effective in the Premier League so far after he had served his 3-match ban for his headbutt.
Mhm.
Quite acclimated, I guess, into the squad.
Yeah, Nunez.
Interruption.
He the 3-match ban didn't help, and what certainly didn't help him is the fact that the Terminator has gotten off to the start that he's gotten off to, and it's like, where are you? Because he's doing that, and you're out here with 1 goal in the Premier League. And 1 goal is a half for Erling Haaland at this point. So
coming into the season, that was the talk. Well, who had the better, number 9? Who had the who's going to fit best? Who's going to acclimate the best? And I think that's been put to bed. I think I saw my numbers were right when I was reading an article. Erling is on pace. He's obviously not going to keep up that pace of goal scoring, but I think if he did maintain that pace, he's on pace for like 54, 56 goals, which the Golden Boot winner in the Premier League last year had 24. So I think Salah's highest most recently, I think in the Premier League was like 30, 31.
Yeah, I think the record is 31.
So
I thought the record was 34.
Something around, I know it was low 30s, but that looks in danger of being broken if he continues to stay healthy. If he's healthy, I think that record is gone.
Here's my issue with Darwin Nunez. From what I've seen, he's trying to play Portuguese football, like still in the Premier League. All of his like touches inside the box are all these real like fancy back heel flicks. Like it's not less cute, more clinical. And that's what Erling is doing so well is capitalizing on the few touches that he gets, and he's being a punishing force with it. And, it makes me miss Didier Drogba that much more to watch someone, in the same style of play do it in this league, now.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nunez needs to knuckle down and kind of readjust himself and adapt, because that's what he needs. He's got the talent. He's just not. And God, I hope Liverpool fans were not watching today when that clip from the Uruguayan national team clip came out today. That was wolf. That was a bad little string of plays there.
I think he cleared out one of his own teammates pretty roughly in a scrimmage, and then took a prep touch and then just blasted the ball like 30 feet away from the goal. Not even, and it went like, so he was off on the left wing, and it went like, it was almost a square ball across the field when he was going for goal. It was not a good.
I think it cleared the corner flag. I think it went above the corner flag. It was
after he very roughly took out his teammate.
Yeah, he bulldozed over him.
So it's like,
Darwin, chill out, bro.
Relax, bro.
Yeah, chill out.
So now that we got all caught up a little bit on our respective clubs and everything, before we wrap up, we can kind of go through the groups, I guess, and kind of point out which teams we are interested in watching, I guess, maybe for each one.
It's crazy that we actually have to preview this in September.
It still feels so weird.
That's stupid. I hate everything about this World Cup. It is, and I really wonder if ratings are going to suffer because of this.
There's so many factors that are going to go into this one, and I'm super excited just to see how everything unfolds. They had a pre-match to get ramped up over there in the stadium that's going to host the final, I guess, like maybe a week or two ago, and it was a shit show. There was no water. The AC units weren't working. There were queues of people just lined up all over the place with kids, and nobody could get any water, and it was hot as shit. And it was just like an absolute mess of a pre-match situation. And then you're a month or two out from the actual thing, and everything's supposed to be running smoothly at this point, and it's far from that. Granted, they have an assload of money over there to take care of this kind of stuff and get it fixed before then. But it's between that and the craziness of the schedule, it's going to be real interesting to see how this World Cup unfolds. So,
Right. Who's in Group A?
Group A, we got the host nation, Qatar, Ecuador. Shout out to Julio. His
I can't wait to welcome our new player Caicedo in January. He's gonna look so good in Chelsea blue.
Can't wait for him to get that kit hanging up with the rest of his collection. And then we also have probably the two favorites to come out, Senegal and Netherlands.
Yeah,
so Netherlands and Senegal are the highest ranked if you care anything about men's rankings in FIFA.
Yeah, I just give that one real brief. I think they'll come out. Those two teams will be the two out of the group.
Senegal is the reigning African champions, and Netherlands are perennial.
I like those two to come out
for sure. Now the match between those two will probably determine who gets first, who gets second. And then the opening match is Qatar against Ecuador. I think it's the 20th. They moved it up, so they would be the first match. And just so everybody, if you're unaware, this one is not like the Champions League where everybody plays each other twice. It is you play once against the
one and done
against the other three teams in your group, and whoever finishes the top moves on. Second place moves on to the next round. So
that's why every match is at a premium, because you drop points in one match and it could literally take you from first to not making it.
Yeah. Yep. And when you play teams is also very important, which we will talk about briefly in Group B, because that is the big draw here, because that's where the US are been placed against Iran, England, and Wales. So on paper, England and the US would be ones you would expect. England, however, sorry, Chelsea Joe, have frequently underperformed in World Cups. Recently, Euros, they've done better, but in World Cups, they've not made it out of the groups before that they anticipated to be out of. So the USA against England game. Black Friday.
Yeah,
midday.
That's your we set every TV ratings record for soccer on that day.
I'm not on that day. There is no shopping that day. Don't at me, like that's where I'll be.
And Trav, I know Trav is our Twitter guy. So Trav, I'm gonna tell you something. If you want to have fun with Twitter, England versus USA will be the Twitter feast of all Twitter feasts.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this now.
I can believe that. I can truly.
And both fan groups can be riled up and poked so easily to get them fucking out of character and out of pocket. So it's going to be fun to mess with folks. And then the US that's the second game for both clubs. US opens with I believe Wales, and England with Iran. So the US is going to be going into the last game of the group against the weakest of the four. So that puts them in an enviable
Which on
position.
Paper should be good.
In theory,
on paper should be good.
In theory,
however,
that's great.
We both know how this team performs in games that should be easy. Let's not bring up the hexagonal or whatever the hell you want to call that awful qualifying thing that CONCACAF has. The hex.
The hex.
Jurgen Klinsmann.
Oh. Yeah.
So that's Group B. Big one, USA and England.
I think England wins that group only because, as Zach talked about the US, one of the other two matches will be more of a struggle than it should be.
Mm-hmm.
And England probably beats Iran 6-0 and just makes the goal differential astronomical, and then they win the group.
That's my guess.
Even if England and US tie, England will blow out one of the other two teams and make it and win the group.
They have a little more firepower than the US has up front, for sure.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Why can't the US have a like soccer dream team?
I mean, if you want my honest, it's because our best athletes don't play soccer. Point blank, period.
Yeah.
You look at all these other countries, the best athletes from their country majorly play football, so they, from a very young age, that's all they've been doing. Whereas in the US, we have so many professional sports that kids dabble in a little bit of everything and then choose to go down a different path. And with the amount of money that's made in professional sports, like even baseball nowadays, like it's just as lucrative, if not more than what you see in soccer. So we will never see a dream team for the US. Not of that caliber.
And one more question. If it was ever, like you said, if you judging by best athletes, who would be a 9 or a 9-man roster that you will put out on the field? You can name any athlete, like you can put LeBron James here or somebody here, or maybe a football player that you think that's good for soccer. Who would you like put there, like your top athletes to make a team as far as like a dream team of a US for soccer?
You know what, Trav? I really like this idea. Let's save this as a whole, and let's make this a separate episode because I really like this.
That's a good question.
I want to put some thought into it, and I want to be able to like create my squad and like maybe put a graphic together.
I will most definitely be back.
I love that
because
I will be if I'm not here, I will be somewhere listening and looking for this one. So.
Because it's easy to name. Oh, let's put LeBron on the team. Maybe that's a maybe. But we got to put some qualifying things. They have to be like Americans, right? Like they can't, like Antetokounmpo can't technically.
No. We won't. Hey, you can't play for the Iranians if you are Pakistani or something like that.
All right. Yeah. Well, if they have citizenship though, they technically could. So there's ways around this.
But I want pure American blood.
I'm going to the lab.
Patriotic Trav.
That's a great episode, and I'm very much looking forward to doing a little bit of research on this one. That's gonna be a fun thing to do. Highlights of Group C. Messi versus Lewandowski at some point is going to happen. This one is Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. I can see 3 different teams coming out. I think Argentina is the class, but who comes out between Poland and Mexico? That will be a very interesting matchup. But the draw and the light bulbs and the cameras will be on the Poland-Argentina match, I think, with Lewandowski and Messi both playing.
Did you did you see the news that came out of the El Tri camp?
No
today?
Carlos Vela or no Chicharito.
Mm-hmm. They both have been excluded from the World Cup roster. Now Vea's injured, so and he said it himself, he's not going to make it. But not taking Chicharito is interesting, just given the pure experience level of what he has in the World Cup.
And I can't think of another striker that they have besides Raul Jimenez over at Wolves that is even playing in a big league or really in form at all. So that's
Lozano. I mean, he's kind of a winger, but he plays for Napoli. So
I would anticipate him starting out wide. I'm thinking
he usually does.
Yeah. So but Messi is going to be the draw for this particular group, and they're going to be all on how they perform.
Yeah, to me, this is the one of the major stories this World Cup is this is the last shot for Messi and Cristiano.
Cristiano said today he wants to be at the next World Euros and the next World Cup.
Cristiano's gonna jump in the crowd chamber with Michael Jackson or something. I don't know.
Speaking of Cristiano, though, if you want to talk about the U.S. men's national team in the future, whoever is in charge of youth development recruiting for the national team needs to be heavy talking with Jorge Mendes, because Cristiano Jr. was born in San Diego. So therefore he's born an American citizen. He could play for the US national team.
There you go.
Yeah.
Planning for the future.
Okay. So who's Group D?
Group D has the reigning.
Who do you think's getting out of that group? Because
I think
there's going to be one team that's going to get left out.
I think based on what you just said, I think Argentina, although depending, I know some people, Argentina fans, who say they're not real thrilled with what's around Messi, but I think it's good enough to get them out of the group.
They're going to win that group.
And I think they'll win the group. Mexico can be so all over the place. Mexico could either not get out the group or Mexico could make the quarters because they just weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna go if doesn't get out the group, and I'm gonna say Argentina and Poland.
I'm with Ronnie.
What?
Mexico has not been in great form, and
time out. Other than Lewandowski, Szczesny, and Milik, name one Polish player.
I can't.
Okay.
Blaszczykowski.
Like I said.
I can't.
Get out of here.
I don't like the vibe coming out of El Tri. They have not played well in the qualifiers. There seems to be uproar with their manager at times, and they don't seem like the usual El Tri.
No, I don't see them not making it out of that group.
They are gonna sit their asses at home after the first 3 matches.
I love it. World Cup trash talk.
Hey, they're our nearest rival. So Group D, we got France, the reigning World Cup champions, and just absolutely loaded roster.
Kylian, no assist. Mbappe.
0 to Messi or Neymar.
My man Kylian.
Australia, Denmark, and Tunisia. So talk about a
easy group.
The group for the World Cup champions a little bit.
This is obviously I wasn't talking with, we weren't connected like that in 2018. So I'll say the same thing I said in another soccer group in 2018. France is my pick to win the whole thing, provided they don't shoot themselves in the foot. I don't think anybody, but with France, as we've seen in recent headlines, it's always something.
You got witch doctors and
it's
injury.
It's always something. But if you look at that team 1 through 23, other than maybe Brazil, I don't think anybody's as talented as them.
But they have the deepest roster by far, in my opinion.
But they are prone to weird stuff and drama and controversy and infighting. And that's just going to be the question is, can they pull together by the time the tournament starts? We saw in 2018, they were all together, all on the same page. They win the tournament.
Well, that's because they had the best player in the tournament.
Yeah.
Olivier Giroud.
God.
They got my man Olivier. And now you figure you upgrade from Giroud to Benzema.
Whoa,
but again,
upgrade. Don't be slandering my name.
Listen, I love Olivier. Olivier is one of my favorites, but that's him to Benzema is a Hyundai to a Benz for real. But again, like Zach says, France has drama a lot. If they don't have drama by the time November gets here, they to me win the whole thing.
But
But
all that being said, they were going to get out of that group, no problem. Denmark is the
but
next.
oh yeah, they get out the
closest.
group. Even
Yeah,
if they even they
Denmark's
all
the
punch
next
each other out.
closest,
Yeah.
and I
The
think they
Danish,
get through
the Danish
pretty
team will be
easily.
next
So
with
that one should be
snake fucking Christensen.
Denmark and France coming out pretty comfortably, I think, because Tunisia and Australia just don't have
Yeah, that's
much
a,
to compete.
The Socceroos aren't gonna do it.
No, they'll be lucky
is
to.
Tim Cahill still playing for the
I was
Socceroos?
literally
That's their
just gonna
nickname.
say Tim
The
Cahill.
Socceroos is definitely their.
They
nickname.
usually drag Tim Cahill out of mothballs for these things.
Suit up. It's time.
Let's go.
They better call Ben Simmons.
Vince.
No way, man. No way. No, you know what? Don't call Ben because he'll probably quit on
Still better results than what they're gonna get.
Quick plug for 94. Big interview coming out tomorrow.
Yep.
Ben Simmons is on JJ Redick's podcast talking. Talking
who no one has heard from in like 6 months.
He's like a damn recluse.
A recluse.
All right, who's Group E?
Group E, we got two powerhouses in this one. We have Spain and Germany, and then Costa Rica and Japan.
This is the tough one. The tough one.
As far as who wins the group, it ain't tough on who's getting out of the group.
Spain and Germany should that match between those two is going to be one of those. Besides the U.S. and England, that might be the next most watched game.
Yeah,
out of the group stage games, because that's going to be a massive tilt.
Who plays
Spain and Germany?
Yeah, Spain, Germany. Who plays up front for? Because I know they kind of changed. Who plays up front for Spain now?
It was Llorente, wasn't it?
I believe so for a little bit, yeah. And they had what Iago Aspas was playing there for a little bit, but I think and even Ferran Torres was playing a little bit a striker for them at one point.
You got Morata.
Oh, I was about to say the always transferred Alvaro Morata is on the fringes.
So, but that's gonna be a fun matchup between Germany.
Give me Germany by a point to win the group.
That'll make Zach happy.
They got the Williams twins.
One of them.
Nico.
One of them is declared for Ghana.
Yep, that's right.
Give me Germany by a point to win that group.
Spain better figure out who's playing between the sticks. That's what they need to figure out.
Used to be auto lock David De Gea, but not.
Is it your guy from Chelsea?
I mean, if Potter rates Kepa and he keeps playing, Kepa's played really well in back-to-back matches. I have zero complaints from him. So he could make a push. I imagine it will probably be De Gea by default just because.
All right.
But it could be more of a thing than originally thought. I got Diamond Shaft though by 1 million.
I hope Germany and Spain beat the brakes off of Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
Costa Rica, Joe's hatred.
I can't do it. I get into the U.S. when men's and women's soccer pretty heavy, and the way Costa Rica always plays against us is reminiscent to Atletico Madrid for me, and it just drives me absolutely bonkers.
Oh,
I hope they get smashed 6-7-0 from both of them and get embarrassed on their way out and back.
Yeah, I hope they forfeit their last game just because of it.
Bye.
Get out of here, Costa Rica.
Group F, I think, is probably going to be one of the most interesting ones because I could see every team getting out of that group. So this one is
this Brazil's?
It is not. This one is Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia.
Oh,
this is your mixed bag group. This is a very mixed bag right here.
Belgium should be the class of that group, but they've also not performed to their peak in a lot of major competitions. They have the big names in Hazard and Lukaku and De Bruyne and all those guys, but
Christian Benteke.
Who did you say besides Morocco? You said Canada and
Croatia, all of which have big name players, whether they are in form at that time.
I'll go first, and I'll be the guinea pig, so you guys can plug off of that. Obviously, I think Belgium's gonna win the group, but I'm gonna take Croatia.
I think I'm gonna go with Zach on that one.
Any midfield that has Luka Modric and Mateo Kovacic in it is, other than arguably, man, I don't know. That might be the best midfield pairing in the tournament.
They're definitely the best midfield pairing in that group,
and
that's enough.
I don't think Canada's quite there yet. I think they have the potential to push a little bit, but they got Davies and that's
Jonathan David.
And
Sidney Crosby's not walking through that.
He is not. So I think they have potential to push at some point, but
fuck the Penguins, by the way.
But I don't think Canada has enough. And Morocco, I think is good enough to push them, the other teams, a little bit, but they're not good enough to take points off of some of those other clubs. I don't think so.
The prodigal son has returned, unretired from international football. Yeah,
he's back.
Yeah, he's in international camp for the first time in like 4 years or something like that.
Who's that?
Ziyech.
Oh wow. Okay, okay.
So Group F, that's where we're at with that one. Group G is Brazil's group, Zachary. Brazil, Serbia, the Swiss, and Cameroon.
Interesting.
So Brazil, clearly class of that one of the favorites to win the whole thing when you got a front three of Neymar, Gabby Jesus, and Vinny Jr.
Gabby Jesus didn't make the friend. He's not with them for international break.
Correct. I think he still will go on the plane, but
who's playing the 9 for him then?
Richarlison. Richarlison,
Bobby, old Bobby,
and Bobby
Firmino.
Firmino. And then you got Rafinha, Vinicius.
Or you can just put Neymar as like a false 9 situation and put Rafinha and Vinny out wide. But they have options, that's for sure.
Well, that's where Nay's been playing, right? Hasn't he been playing as a false 9, or they?
I think he and Messi have been playing kind of underneath Mbappe up top.
No, Mbappe's been on the right wing the entire time.
So who's up top?
I don't think they're playing a top striker. I think they're playing a false 9, and I think it's either Messi or it's been Neymar.
So he's not a midfielder.
I like Brazil to win the group, obviously, and then
that's tough to pick the rest of the other three. I'm leaning the Swiss.
I'll take whatever one you don't want. It don't matter.
They'll be matched up with a group winner somewhere, and they're going to get smacked. So
there'll be a 3 in Q, no matter where it. 3 in barbecue. It's time to go home.
Adios. Give me Brazil and Switzerland without any research.
I'll take Cameroon.
There you go.
Okay.
And our last group, Cristiano's group. Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and the Korean Republic.
First 2 names.
Yeah.
You going Ghana or did I say Uruguay over first?
You said Ghana.
You're
going Ghana over Uruguay? Ooh, Zachary.
Give me Portugal and Ghana. Is Luis Suarez still playing for Uruguay?
Well, I mean, he should.
He currently is playing in the Uruguayan top flight, and they end in October. And I think the plan is so he can get to the World Cup this year, hopefully perform well enough and then get picked up for the rest of the season in a European league, I think is what he's hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
Hannibal.
We shall
Give me Portugal, Ghana.
I'll go Portugal and give me Uruguay to beat Ghana. Korea, thanks for showing up.
Human song.
There's the door.
Man found his shooting boots.
Name me another Korean player.
The dude Kwan. Or what? He plays for Wolves. Midfielder.
That's right. That's two.
Kwan, I think his name is. Hit the Kwan.
Get the Quan. Get the Quan.
Yeah. That's all I got.
On that note, Zachary, that's a great way to wrap things up, I think.
Hey,
The World Cup. Well done, sir.
Outro.
We definitely will have like a full boat World Cup preview when we get close to the tournament. A very strange tournament they're having in November, which I'm still, but we'll talk about that.
Oh, show.
Stand by for a lot of short, maybe 15-minute video previews on each team, and what to expect, possible starters, possible, formations. Like I said, we did this in the last World Cup, but we did it in written form. This one will be much more interactive. Hopefully we'll have someone will share a screen and we'll show like who the formation may be or whatever, and we'll go from there.
Who are our guys is it Rod and Julio who are big Argentina fans?
Diego.
It's Diego.
Yeah.
We might need to get Diego.
That's the roots. I'm dying to get Diego on here. You want to talk about a hotbed of knowledge? That man knows a lot, and he is Mr. Argentina.
And Diego could talk about because Trav. How we got Trav into Copa 90. So Trav is a big fan of the Boca Juniors versus River Plate rivalry. So we got Diego on. He could tell you all about it.
He's a huge Boca fan.
It's good stuff right there.
I still watch that episode that you send me every other day. I still watch it.
It's a good one.
Just the chaos that goes along with it's
different.
Wow. I tell people all the time, the fandom in this sport
it's different.
It's different.
They live and die. They live and die by this soccer, man.
It is life.
It is.
I mean, we go crazy. I seen a fan go crazy. He was an Alabama fan. It was his birthday. But what they did, they dressed the cake up as white cream, white with the A around it. He cut it and it was orange and blue. He went
I thought it was
crazy.
purple and yellow. I thought
my phone, I don't know what it was. I thought it was Auburn colors, but it probably was LSU colors.
Yeah, it was one of the two. Regardless.
It was whatever it is.
Right. Now
and he
fucked that cake up.
Yes.
Now if you did that and it was a Boca Juniors topping with a River Plate underneath,
you
got stabbed.
You're getting your ass whooped.
You die.
Yep.
You would have got stabbed on spot.
It's a religion.
I'm not.
It's a religion. Yeah.
Someone's going to the trunk to get the blicky because
got dealt with.
Someone's gonna die.
On site.
Gonna die.
On site. Well, good talking, fellas.
Yes,
good
sir.
talking. Remember, Stoppage Time FC is a Facebook group. Scenes the family. Subscribe. Notifications on. Bomb Pop Joe. Chelsea Blue Zach. Trav in the building. This is Stoppage Time FC.